Alright, y'all, so it's been about 2-ish days since the part 2 LRs have released, and I just want to talk about the overall designs now that they've been available for us to use. I have had used all these characters, battle hardened foes, red zone, etc. Talked with a lot of other people, and we're gonna do like a little tier list update here pretty much. I do want to point out from the beginning, this is all very, very tentative, right? I think a lot of this can change up. We are getting part 3 on about the 21st, and we're gonna get a lot of other difficult fights like in this stretch right here that could flip things around by a good margin, right? It's entirely possible. I think 99%, like a 90% chance we get like something like the new hardest fight in the game or something like that, right? Like a definitive fight, right? Right now, this tier list is kind of based around battle hardened foes because I think those are the hardest fights currently, and we're gonna talk about how I feel about these characters with that. I think like let's say like 60-70% of mine, and then like 30% like the red zone stages, because they are gonna be indicative of what these other stages I think are going to be, like let's say red zone Jiren, red zone Fusion Zamasu, right? We're gonna get a bunch of those difficult fights. We also should be getting more battle hardened formidable foes though. We still need like a Dragon Ball Super stage and things like that, Dragon Ball Super movie stage I think we can get, so a lot of very exciting stuff. With that out of the way, here is what the list is generally looking like. This is what I'm generally feeling like with a lot of these characters. I mean, it's just like, wishy-washy. I think you can make a lot of changes. This is just LRs, by the way. I'm not including like TURs in here. When we include TURs in here, it gets a little crazy, but it's like, like we'd have like Gohan up here, probably Texel is probably up here. And we're going to talk about mainly the 3 part 2 LRs. Like I said, we're going to be fitting them into this mold. And again, this is all very general. I would say in terms of the definitive like top 5 here, I think these characters, and like it's really like tough. Like you can make an argument for this guy higher, honestly. Like I think this is more or less in order. This is where it's like you can kind of shift things around. Even here you can shift things around. That's where they're in the tiers. I know, I bet you guys, some of you guys are watching right now and hearing me. Some people are gonna skip to the end and be like, oh my god, you have Geneva over Family Kamehameha. Oh my god, you have Tech Broly over, I don't know, a lot of people really like Tech Broly. You have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks over Gogeta, right? I think it's all interchangeable. I'm putting it here. And if someone replies with that, maybe I'll clip it. Who knows? Anyways, talking about the list itself. I think we could start off the gate, and at least with me personally, I do think the Gogeta card is on the same level as the Vegito card. And we're also going to read comments, by the way, but I just want to throw that in there because I forgot to mention it. Let's actually get it back on track here. This Gogeta card is really, really good. What I would say is if you compare him side to side with the Vegito card, I do think that overall throughout the fight this guy is better. This Goku version of the card is just a tankier character. Even though Vegeta does have this 300% extra defense start of turn, he only has guard. And the thing about this Goku is that while he only has damage reduction, it is 90% damage reduction. So that is not only tankier, it's going to age better. This guy has a better leader skill too. But there are things that is better about this card as well than I think is better about the Goku himself, or I guess the Vegito card specifically. And I think that's when we get to this guy, right? This character, I think, very easily clears this Vegeta character, especially, but obviously he's also better, I think, than this Goku. Both of these characters are slot 1 orientated characters. What I would say about this Goku is that unlike Vegeta feels like in these harder fights, he does want to like get a turn to build up, and instantly he can get hurt pretty badly in some of these fights I found. That's not the case for him because A, Goku has just 80% chance to dodge right off the gate, but B, Goku has this Ghost Usher. Now, most scenarios you want to go ahead and fuse into Gogeta, but having this in your back pocket, especially if it's a thing of like, okay, I need to free up turn 4, turn 5, I can get the other Gogeta out or something like that. You're basically just all good to go. Maybe you also have Vegito next turn, you have the targets go. Anyways, right? Having this Ghost Usher is gonna make this character just like, I think, age really nicely, because it's like, okay, you could float Vegeta off and then you come back around, you switch to Goku and you get his Ghost Usher, right? I think that could be really good. This guy's also a defensive stacking character, which is just a generally nice thing to have. So in longer events, you can like get this guy stacked up by quite a bit. He's very safe, I think. Same thing with this Vegeta though. He, like, in longer events, he will be very safe, but I think this guy is just overall going to be a better character than what the Vegito is looking like for the most part here, comparing these two specifically, the Gogeta and the Vegito side. So it's interesting. I think the Goku sides of both cards are better than the Vegeta sides of both cards, right? But when we also talk about the Fuse side, this Gogeta is absolutely absurd. I mean, this I think is really nice, and this will probably come very much in handy when we get like these part 3 fights. I could see these part 3 fights maybe locking, stealings. I said stealing, sealing, stunning. This guy's gonna be like, nah, nope, I don't care. You can very easily send slot 1. Like, what? I think if you get 3 or 4 orbs, that's like 75 to 80% damage reduction. The support is nice. I think, you know, successors could be a better team for sure, but it's like not a bad support at all. He's giving this 54% buff, man, and he's doing a lot of damage himself still. Like, it's obviously not Vegito level damage, but even then, the amount of damage he provides to all allies is absolutely incredible. Full heal, like Gogeta, like, I think this Gogeta is on a level above, like, you know, what Beast Gohan is doing and all these other characters. I would say though, like, Beast Gohan, his role with like a team protector mechanic turn 3 is also very good. I just think overall, if we have, I'm gonna consider the entire kit of the character, and it's not like you can't get these guys out. When, like, even in battle hardened foes, certain times you can get it out, and even in that fight, like, you use this Ghost Usher that the Goku has is really good. And I bring this guy up just because I think they're pretty close to each other for the most part. I would personally put the Vegito slightly ahead of the Gogeta, but at the end of the day, it's just a tier list, and I guess that's another thing. Like, this is kind of just free form. A lot of people have been asking me to do a tier list, actually. I got a couple of comments in the last few days, so I'm like, hey, you know, we'll just do it, and let's just at least talk about the characters before maybe the part 3 shakeup happens. Next, we'll talk about Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. This guy's details came out, and a lot of people actually did not like what he was looking like. And I guess I understand the fact that even me, I looked at this and I'm like, only 20% reduction. But as I've used this guy more and more, I have enjoyed him more and more. I think this character is quite good. He's a very just consistent character, right? The 2 additional guaranteed super attacks, very easy for him to get max ki, you know. Once he receives this attack, I found him pretty tanky, even just like for a turn 1 performance. And, you know, a lot of my usage of this guy has been my 55% version, but still, once you get to turn 5, he has this really hard hitting active skill that could just like blow the enemy away. It's a very good active skill, and this buff is cool too. He starts getting the guaranteed crits. I would say compared to the Vegeta portion, well, it's like, I think the only thing I would change about this guy is like maybe make the Vegeta the slot 1 so that we actually have more slot 1s, which that's been a big concern of a lot of people recently, slot 1 characters. This guy maybe could have also been a slot 1, I guess, but I feel like losing both his additionals and then trading it off for more damage, it's like, okay, so he'll go from doing, you know, 20 to 30 mil attack stat to like a 60 plus mil attack stat, but then he loses also these 2 additionals. He also does trade it for the guaranteed crit too, but I don't know. I feel like what I would do personally is I would still just give him high chance to crit and basic effects, and then make him keep one of the additional super attacks. Or, you know, because I what I found is this character's defense actually feels weaker when you get to turn 5 onward, and I feel like that could be when fights will get stronger, right? It makes sense, right? As you go farther into the event, the harder the enemy is going to be. So what they could have done for this guy is give him like 30% reduction when attacking. He wouldn't be slot 1, of course, but I think that would kind of even out the defense as well, to where it's like he again trades it off, because he gets this extra defense when attacking, but that's not going to be as much defense he gets, honestly, as the 60% defense he'd get here. I mean, realistically, if this guy does get crits, he also would do more damage early on too, right? I mean, I wouldn't build this guy with crits personally, because he eventually gets guaranteed crits, but still, I think he feels a little like, it's not like he's bad, but just a little like holes you can poke in triggers. We're like, why did you do this? You know, why is it not like as not consistent, but like, I think you guys understand where I'm going from. I feel like they could have done a little more with this guy. Another thing maybe is, you know, I guess with the amount of animations these characters have, it's crazy, but if this guy had a revive skill from turn 5 onward, like into LR Broly, I think that would have been really cool too. But other than that, no, I think he's obviously a very consistent, strong character. I like him a bit. I think, you know, as I continue to use him, I like him more and more. In terms of where I'd place him, I think I'm going to put him in like this S tier range. I don't know exactly where I would really put him. I mean, I think he's better than Family Kamehameha. And even then, it's like, you could argue, oh, well, this guy could end up being a slot 1 character for a few turns, which is very important. I think it's like, again, like around here, I think I wouldn't actually put this guy above AGO UI Goku. I think AGO UI Goku is like, he's just like, okay, he's always doing his additionals, he's always doing his guaranteed crits. He has the dodge mechanic, which allows him to do that. He has the revive mechanic, like a team protector ability. This Gohan doesn't have like a team protector ability in his kit, whilst I feel like, you know, I guess Gotenks is the only one up here without one. Gotenks is so strong. Like, maybe we could do this, something like this. It feels weird to put Gotenks like that low, because Gotenks is actually also a really good slot 1 character. But yeah, if we're gonna do something like this, I think this makes more sense. And the thing about Janemba is he does have the team protector, but I feel like it's not as strong or, you know, as easily accessible as I think as the other ones, in terms of like, again, this speaking battle hardened foes, specifically battle hardened foes. Let's point that out there again. At least for the most part, right? In some of these red zones, you can get it off. Like that team protector in the Gogeta fight is, not Gogeta fight, the Golden Frieza fight could be very, very good, right? Man, it's like, cause I feel like besides Tech Broly here, but like Tech Broly is like on, like, he's that guy, right? Everyone here has an ability to protect the team in some form or format, and this guy doesn't have that, which again, if he had that, like that turn 5 revive, I think he could be a little higher, but you could definitely switch things around. You can make some arguments. I think this is roughly where I'd place him, the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He's a good character though. And then finally we talk about Goku and Frieza. Now, I think that I've seen a lot of talk about this character being very bad, being, you know, just really weird. And I see the point. I see why people don't like him. I'm actually more of a defender of this character than a disliker. Again, I can see why people won't like it. And it's really this. I just think that this ability being HP restricted is probably the stupidest thing ever. Or you could even say this being turn 4 also hurts him. It's just really the fact that it does boil down to the fact that he's not always going to have his reduction up in every single situation. And then he gets tagged by super, he's dead. Obviously, characters who can't live super attacks, at the end of the day, they get you killed, right? If they get supered. And there's going to be bosses that may be lock. There's going to be bosses that may be, you know, double super in a turn, right? And that's where this character could be in a big issue. And that's specifically Red Zone, right? I think Red Zone is where those fights do a lot of that. I think right now, though, I do like this character for these battle-hardened formidable foes fight. If we take a look and consider everything Frieza is doing, right? He's going to be able to get this 77% attack and defense buff to all allies on the rotation. That's an incredible support buff, right? And if you have both Friezas as your leader, of course, that is turns where you can maybe get 154% stats. You know, if you get the rotation a certain way, you could just basically have 77% attack and defense support throughout like the first 4 turns of the fight, right? Which is really good. This Frieza in those fights has the 70% chance of stun, which if you do knock the stun off, that essentially is, you know, goes ushering the next turn. Obviously, you know, it is specific to those fights, but I think that is, considering that those are like some of the harder fights in the game, if not the hardest fights in the game, I think that is something that we could kind of point to, which is why, you know, I have Broly this high, because I think the fact that he's slump 1, he has that 70% stun chance, right? I think I'm valuing that pretty nicely currently until we get these new redstone fights. He also does a lower attack here, and if he does end up being under 77% HP, I find his damage and his defense to be perfectly fine, really. I have not had any issues with him personally. And then what happens is if you float this guy off and get Goku turn 4, you could decide to switch to Goku. You have this 77% heal in your back pocket, the rainbow orb changing. Goku doesn't necessarily even have to sit in any specific slot, and he'll still have his guard plus 59% reduction. Post super attack, he's not taking damage at all. I mean, yeah, no, Goku is also just a very, very good character himself. I just feel like Frieza has this inconsistency to him that is not going to end up being good in these red zone fights. And I think that doesn't matter, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to be good like across all these different fights. If I'm going to place him on this list, it is definitely in this A tier, around like here. It's like around where the blue evolutions are. I feel like right now I like this guy better than S tier blue evolution, and the reason why is because I think this Frieza is offering more than what this guy is, just in general. This character has the rainbow orb changing, but I feel like that's pretty much all the special things he does. I guess this Vegeta will be in less situations where he could potentially die to supers, especially considering I think getting these orbs for this guy is more important, but at the same time, this guy's even more RNG related than this guy. Because, I mean, me personally, what I've been doing on this Battle Fate team in those, again, fights is I've been running, where is this guy? I've actually been running this guy, and it's really funny because this guy's actually really good in those fights. He gets this, and then we kind of coast throughout the entire fight at under 77% HP, because with that we have Great Ape Kid Goku, we have HOUI Goku's revive, then on the other rotation we have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Beast Gohan. Then of course it'll get Frieza's passive up. Frieza's also supporting, stunning, attack lowering. Goku has the heal, and I feel like the thing about Blue Evolution versus Goku, I think, you know, in longer fights we're able to get this guy out, and I think as long as Frieza doesn't get like instantly obliterated turn 1, you float him off and you get this Goku out, and he's not dying and at a much more consistent rate, and he has a 77% heal. Like this character is doing a lot. So what I don't know if I put him above even in Blue Evolution though, and that's like where it's like, this is a brand new Carnival LR. He should be in this tier, and I think there's turns where he can look as good in this tier, but when we consider everything, he's not really consistently up there. Because Gohan, good in both the short fights and long fights. We take a look at Super Saiyan 3 Goku, good in both the short fights and long fights. Blue Evolution is a thing where it's like, he's inconsistent to me, and he doesn't really feel fun to run to me personally. I had way more fun and good experiences with this Frieza, so that's why I actually personally would have him above him. But then when it comes to in Blue Evolution, I think that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know, because Blue Evolution, he has like that turn 1 guard, which will actually be really good in those fights. He has the revive skill, the multi-turn support. Jiren, once he gets his standby out, he's invincible slot 1. TQI Goku, like, TQI Goku's kind of a fish too, but he has the domain ability I can get in these fights. Full Power Frieza. I find Full Power Frieza a very safe slot 1 character, like a reasonably safe slot 1 character for what he's doing. This guy's doing a lot for the team, but I think they really missed the mark in him making sure that he's safe, right? I think they're like, oh, this support maybe is too strong. And I see the idea where it's like, you start the turn off at 77%, but then your slot 1 unit or slot 2 unit gets supered. You'll likely fall under that HP threshold. And then he'll get this extra damage on this, but this should not be restricted. This, you know, they could also have done this where it's like on his first appearance as well. Kind of like how Tech LR Super Gogeta has that, like on his first appearance, he gets the extra reduction. If this also had that ability, I think that'd be nice. Or like, again, if you could just switch to Goku turn 1 where it's like, okay, you know, in these red zone fights that are hard, instantly Frieza can't stun or debuff or anything, but I could switch to Goku. And then Goku could start attack stacking. For the active skill, Goku can defend at a reasonable rate. I think they missed the mark with this character because unlike these other 2 tag characters, the Gogeta and the Vegito, it's not like this guy has like, oh yeah, this guy has a fusion, like a Super Vegito or Super Gogeta that you get to fuse into at the end of the fight. No, this guy has the active skill, which if you're above 77% HP especially, or didn't get any attack stacks, it hits very weak. It's a really mid-active skill, honestly. It doesn't hit hard at all. It's like, yeah, I don't know. This is the character where I feel like they missed a few marks. I feel like this character, even like design wise, they've also missed a few marks with this guy. I think that there's a lot they could have added to him too. So I kind of have them around like the same level. But that's me personally. I think we get like Red Zone Jiren, hardest fight in the game by far. He can't be stunned, he can't be sealed. Frieza goes down, I would say, right? And let's say if we don't get new battle hardened formidable foes, right? But at the end of the day, it's always interchangeable. We kind of don't know what's going to happen in a few days still, so we'll see. Everything else is like, again, general, not really anything concrete. I think it's whatever at the end of the day. I think people take these lists seriously, but I just wanted to give my thoughts just generally how I feel about these characters. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of the replies here from the community themselves, because I think a lot of people have different ideas about how good you find a certain character or things like that. So we'll take a look at some of the quotes here just to see. Gogeta make Vegeta in slot 1 and Goku slot 2. Goku Frieza make the unit start as Goku and give Frieza any kind of unconditional defensive. I would disagree. I think make it so that you could just switch, because Frieza's design at the end of fights, I guess, will also be useful, because, like, you know, it would be cool though if like you could start as Goku and then you choose to switch when you want to switch into Frieza, and then you could activate that multi-turn support whenever you want, like as a little thing in your back pocket. Actually, I like that idea. And it's like if you could turn 1 exchange with them, that'd be really cool too. Gohan gave him 50% crit before turn 5 and a 70% super after turn 5, maybe 30% reduction instead of 20%. Yeah, I think with Gohan, it's like, it's not like his design, but I think like the general stats, or I don't know, I just think they could take a little bit more to his kit, right? It's not even just this, it's not even really the stats, it's just like the crit and the additional, like the hidden potential abilities. They should still stick around a little throughout the entirety of the fight, right? The crit and the additional. Goku Frieza super attack to be from the actual tournament, not before it. Tag Vegeta should have been slot 1. Yeah. Gohan should have guaranteed crit in general. I could see that. Frieza has a painful design. Gogeta's insane, although you think Vegeta and Goku should have had swapped kits to work better with Vegito instead of being a copy. Gohan's good, just a good unit overall. Rescue let it bond a parent and child. Okay. Yeah, I see. This is where I agree with this, right? Frieza's portion should have been designed for the game in general, not only for battle hardened foes. I agree. It's like, yeah, that's really, if Frieza had his, like, okay, what if they gave Frieza 77% damage reduction when attacking? It would move up quite a lot on this list, because, like, okay, well, like, that'd be really good. Or even just his 50% reduction when attacking, right? 77% would be funny because of the Universe 7 theme, right? I don't see why not. Why does there have to be an inconsistency? I see what they're thinking, but why? You know what I mean? Frieza in actual 2025. I wouldn't say that. I think Frieza's doing more than people give him credit for. But I mean, at the end of the day, you get decide your supers, right? So Ichigo Vegeta should have been slot 1. Frieza Goku should have been able to switch turn 1. Gohan should have more crit and a little more defense. Yeah, I think turn 5 Gohan should have a little more defense. And then like turn 1 Gohan should have crit. What time to use the part 2 LRs? Ooh. That sucks. Or are they thinking they would have been way better if you're able to switch whenever you want? Vegeta should have been slot 1. Yeah, it's very similar. So I think everyone's thinking the same things here. Move the turn restriction and Frieza support. Move HP conditions on both. Make his nuke not hit like a wet paper towel. Shaft is real. You haven't been able to actually use the other two. Yeah, I think if we're going to talk about all the anniversary LRs, Goku and Frieza is the one where it's like, you could argue needs the most changes, really. Because like with Blue Evolution, it's like if you change these to high chances, or even just like, even if they wanted to go crazy, great chances. Like that's all they have to do. Frieza, I feel like, you know, you could say his support shouldn't really be turn restricted. He doesn't need this restriction. This should have been turn 1. Their active skill could hit harder, right? There's a lot there. But it's still a lot of good stuff. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a defender. Maybe I wouldn't say I'm a coper because I don't really like this is a cool moment. I'm not like gonna go out of my way to say like, oh yeah, these guys are top 5 in the game, right? You know, at the end of the day, to me, it's whatever. Maybe my opinion of them will change. I mean, it's been 2 days, so I could easily see these new fights make my opinion of them tank. At the end of the day, people can always change their opinions. I think that's something else that this community is not really open to. Oh, I'm gonna pull this tweet from 3 months ago. Your opinion changed on this unit? You lied this whole time. The only time it's funny is when it's done the truth and the Ajo Bardock tweet. Or, yeah. What do you do for Ajo Bardock? Okay, I'm done. Let me know what y'all thinking. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.